and welcome back to race 2 of the weekend at Fuji. And obviously you can see the rain has gone. No more of that please for this particular round. Reverse grid as always. Wittmann was 10th, Fisichella was 9th. That means they are on the front of the grid. Whether that's on their own merit or whether that's because they deliberately did so in order to try and make up for not being at the front of the grid for race 1, you'll be the judge of that if need be. This is Adrian Michael Rees, as per usual. Alongside me once again is Christian Shepherd. Welcome back from the break there. How was race 1 for you, by the way?
We seem to miss every single overtake, unfortunately.
Yeah, we certainly did somehow.
Our director
did put his hands up and admit the defeat on that. It seemed to be, where the traffic was, everything. But if that's going to be lights to flag sunlight, it does mean we're in for some tyre management as the lights are about to turn green. There they go. Alpha's off the line, BMW off the line. Front wheel drive cars though, Ford, Honda already giving the surrender flag already. Into Daiichi, 3 wide. Bit of biff and barge already. Jimmy Webber.
Meat in a sandwich there from
certainly was. Excellent use of the metaphor there. Wittmann back up to second. Fisichella still in the lead. The traffic jam heads to Coca-Cola for the first time in race 2. Still well behaved. Nobody suddenly sliding off or going wide. 100R. Still the more traditional. Yeah. Familiar to those that used to see the older layout, but from this point onwards, it's totally different. 100R is now a double apexer with a massive wide into the Dunlop corner, which for this variant, and of course you saw it in race 1, is still chicaned. Down the inside of Nielsen goes Schneider. So the thing that I said wasn't happening in race 1 has definitely happened as we dive down the end of Schneider. Let's go back even further. Let's do that. So we have got a live rewind here, and thanks to that we'll see exactly what happened from the roof of Schneider's car. 1, 2 cars, 3 cars almost. What a move. There we go. Around the outside of the chicane and into 8th from 11th. What a move. Move of the season.
I don't think anyone was going to be buying Schneider any beers at the end of this race with that move.
None of the guys behind her, at least. They're not going to be impressed with that, perhaps. But there's Nico Wirtz down to 11th after the race 1 win. We've seen that happen a lot with race 1 winners. They tend to slip back into the clutches of the midfield in that pack, which is the whole reason for the reverse grid. But more on that when we come to it. On board with Wirtz, quick check of the mirrors from the man himself, the defending champion. Once again, long straight to do so. A lot of cars behind him, space therefore let's block that position. Once again, the other mirror. Suarez and Ayalo up ahead of them, side by side into the braking area. Ayalo sneaks ahead on the exit of Daiichi. The privateers and the Toyotas still shuffling up things at the back, but not a good look for Toyota on home ground if they're still going to be there by the end of the race. Nor can it be said for Kobayashi, who has kind of been in that position between 15th and last throughout the season. Privateer, though, Tamiya money coming in from Kobayashi themselves. They're an affiliate. Kamish is up to 4th, ahead of Palou because of the reverse grid. But now that the race is in full swing, maybe the power will come back to them, the grip will come back to them from what they lost at the start. There's Thompson in 6th, Snyder up to 7th now, ahead of Ayalo. Fisichella, Webber, Wittmann, all race winners so far this season. And of course the Alpha being major contender for the title in the hands of Wittmann, with Wirtz. Snyder snuck by Ayalo. I did notice that on the exit of Dunlop. Suarez still in 9th, having lost that position to Ayala. They're starting to spread out once again. I think I was expecting from this type of circuit because of how long one straight is and how tight and twisting the rest of it is. There is variety, but it's almost like you've got one and then you've got everything else, and therefore the action tends to be cancelled out because of what the cars need to do on track to get round here as quickly as possible and in as competitive position as possible. Just ask Alpha. Wittmann with the fastest lap in 3rd, Fisichella in 1st, and despite there being such a torrid time in the start of the season, BMW, I suppose, are back. Schneider back down to 8th. Ayala managed to get that position back. The Renault power paying dividends on the long stretch. But the handling characteristics of this BMW, maybe we'll see that dive again into Dunlop. Take 2, maybe not. It's too far back.
Definitely pulls up the gap though from there. It can carry it all the way through to the top of the hill for the last corner.
Mistakes can be made on turns like this.
We're probably looking at set up the corner here from the penultimate, see if that happens.
So the higher Wirtz can get from 10th, the more he may be able to pull away from Wittmann in the championship, because they have been the two that have been sort of swapping positions in the championship round by round. And if Wittmann is going to lock into position, she's going to have to hope that Wirtz cannot do that. Wirtz is behind his teammate Suarez. Team order's obviously not at play yet. It's too early in the game to call that, perhaps. Nielsen in 11th. Having done so well in the first race, also fell to the clutches of the midfield. And is outside the top 10 once again. As is Gasho, as is Felix Rydell. And the first of the 3M Fords. It's Wickens with Ross Biffle with Swinnerton behind Biffle. The other 3M car of Wickens, you'll see into shot before we cut away. He's holding up the tail end of the field, including those two factory Toyotas. First season understood, but Christian, you'd think, yeah, Dumas down the inside for 16th. I was expecting to see the Toyotas a lot higher up than this, even if it is the second race. Questions might need to be asked.
Development. Yeah, if
possibly.
The wins, they just seem to have stopped development. What should we do, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, we'll have to see what results are like when we get to the second season. It's a very good start to the season, but if it's going to end like this, I can only assume it may be a development curve that they've hit. And a testing limit that they've reached themselves. And I know there might be a specific amount of days they're allowed,
Webber's
but if they're able to do that,
taking the lead.
Webber has taken the lead, so we might be able to get a rewind on that because he's down the inside already. Okay, that has already happened, perhaps into the hairpin on lap 4. So we see him going into Coca-Cola here. Fisichella's wide. This is going to be impressive if they can stay gentlemanly, side-o by side-o through 100R. The power deficit of the BMW eclipsed by the power and handling, rather, of the BMW into the hairpin. There's the lead right there for Webber. And so it stayed for the remaining half lap from 300R onwards.
Schneider still having issues there with Ayala. Ayala seems to have got themselves sort of calm and collected now, right up behind, probably even being held up now by Thompson.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
there we
Schneider
go.
has got into 7th before. Aiello's got the power on the main straight, I feel. We hadn't seen it, but I can only assume because we'll see, as you saw with Webber's car, around the outside of 100R. But if we stay on the roof of Schneider's car and look at Aiello as they head into Panasonic and the final hairpin, tucking into the inside there.
She's going to need a grey XL there, possibly even a slipstream Thompson to stop that.
Well, there's Thompson, and here's the roof of Aiello.
Schneider should not be pulling out the slipstream with that Honda. That's not going to do them any favours.
There we go. Now Aiello joins in.
Oh yeah, this is
There's
30 miles an hour over the BMW at the moment, especially with the slipstream. Gonna have to make a bit of a dive though to go past the Beamer at this stage.
There's the Parisian Cheval power going into Daiichi, but not enough to get ahead of Schneider that time around. Suarez and Wirtz still holding up the top 10. Points further down for Nielsen, Gasho, Rydell, Biffle and Swinnerton. Damage limitation for Swinnerton, all things considered. The gamble on the wets for an extra lap did not pay off. Webber still leads, but going by the map you can see a consistent string of cars. No gap. I mean, there probably is going to be a decent gap between Kamish and Wittmann. You can see it there. You can also see a slight gap between Aiello and the two Volkswagens. Schneider down the inside of Dunlop once again. Take 2. There we go. Job done.
That was one of the smoothest overtakes of the season. That was a fantastic move.
More points for Schneider. BMW looking very good for this run.
Odds on to take on both these Fords at this rate. They've definitely got the
way things are going, they might end up keeping 3 and 4 on the side of the cars if their constructors' efforts are to be considered. Kamish and Palou, though. Ford.
Too worried about down the straight. They should definitely be more worried about the complex. Let's just see how. Pulling out too early again, the BMW, for whatever reason. Possibly to cool the brakes? It doesn't seem likely.
What a string of cars, what a shot.
Webber still the fastest driver on the track.
Yeah, he's gone. Unless something silly happens. The two Fords are now closer. Schneider is closer to them.
It's asking Kamish to get out of the way, it seems.
It's going to have to be at this point, surely. We're into the second half of the race now. Do or die. You're going to have to.
From Thompson.
Yep. That's their personal best. It's perhaps the sector best overall. But sectors don't win races. They did the fastest laps, but obviously Webber's proving us wrong right now. I wonder if we're going to get a take 3 from Schneider going into Dunlop once again, because these two Fords look like they have certainly a decent level of top speed, but compared to the BMW, and in fairness compared to this Honda that's behind, let's see, is that going to be
make a move?
Thompson taking a leaf out of Schneider's book that time around, but Schneider, well defended. Nice. You could see the grass flying up, obviously.
Yeah, a bit robust, a bit naughty. Just a
no panel damage. It didn't look like there was too much of a cut there. I mean, what can you do? That chicane is perhaps the slowest corner on the series. Currently, we are heading to the Nordschleife.
So BMW's not going to do very much at the moment to do with.
Now you'd assume the team leader would be the higher number, but Kamish has always raced with the number 10 where possible, and obviously that was deferred to him. Palou being a rookie was like, yep, fair enough. Let's make a mark. I mean, the number 9, quite promising. I mean, let's see if he can make a name for himself and that number 9 in future. Very good season, first rookie season. Aiello on the inside of Thompson now that Thompson lost out on getting ahead of Schneider, and obviously that particular move meant his momentum through those final turns putting back into the clutches of Ayalo. Onto the 7th lap of the race. 100R Schneider still wants these two focuses to move aside. Palou wants Kamish to move aside. Let's see what happens for Dunlop this time around. Palou, yeah, that's going to be some power right there. Some slipstream through the 300R. Down the hill.
Exit though. Yeah, is he now looking to make a move already?
Yeah, she's already there. That move's going to be made. There we go. Palou. Well defended from Palou, but around the outside, more of a momentum. You can see the marbles trying to.
And took all the curve there for fifth place.
And Schneider up to 5th. Perhaps Kamish should. I mean, we don't really hear any of the pit to car. I don't think I saw any sign out on the pit wall for Kamish specifically. We'll see what happens at the end of the race with body language from the Spanish rookie. If Kamish has now demoted, I wouldn't say it was deliberate, but it doesn't help when another driver gets ahead of your teammate. Now Palou's looking for an inside dive on Schneider. Maybe the slipstream is better from that angle. But is the move going to be made? No, it is not. No. Where's Thompson? Still behind, as is Ayalo. As is the two Volkswagens still. Nielsen and the other Honda playing the shuffle game as well between 11th and 12th.
Rydell running a very quiet 13th.
Yeah, it's been a decent run for all the factory effort drivers this time around, except for the Toyotas, of course. Where Fisichella and Wittmann have gone, you can see them just leading ahead now out of the hairpin through 300R, whilst the rest of the chain complete their turn in the hairpin. But there's Schneider now round the outside of Kamish, but the shuffle is on down the inside of the hairpin, giving Kamish a message that Palou should have delivered, because Schneider's now up to 4th.
Yeah.
So whilst I really think it would have helped Palou's game if Kamish was going to hold up Schneider for a whilst Palou got ahead and still maintained 4th place.
If Kamish doesn't have a Ford drive next season, he's going to have to score as many points as possible and show that he can drive.
Or he's going to have to grovel.
It's one or the other. I mean, he's been performing relatively well considering, not as well as Palou. Palou could be a generational driver. We'll have to see if he joins any other teams himself to see if that's the case.
Kamish, like Nielsen, is behind some privateers. In fact, he's in the championship. He is behind Swinnerton. He's behind Ide, the rookie in the other Toyota. Not a good look compared to some of the rookies as well. Questions will need to be asked at Ford, but we'll see what gives us when we get to race 2.
Let's be fair, he's staying ahead of Palou. He's driving against Palou this entire race. It's not just the BMW has come through.
But you can see the obvious train that Kamish is causing, even behind Palou.
Yeah, but we've seen Palou make moves when he's able to. Either Palou's deciding not to for his teammates, or just simply can't.
Speaking of moves, swing it down around the outside of 100R, dive, bomb, brace you. Jeez, 13th position. Red rag to a bull, red Honda to a Swinny.
Anything you can do, I can do better, says Swin to Schneider.
Now, Nico, Wirtz and Suarez having a bit of a tussle there. So this is where the position is, to a degree, donated with a bit of effort, with a bit of crowbarring separation from Wirtz, thank you, as he goes ahead of his teammates, who's now going to play the team game, hopefully, as the sun begins to set behind Mount Fuji. Weber, Fisichella, Wittmann still in the top 3 with 2 full laps to go. Gasho looks potentially poised to get ahead of Suarez by the time we get to Daiichi.
Well, here comes Gasho on Suarez. Oh, not quite. That Scirocco just does have that like top speed, just to send them a little bit further down the straight there. Then to the Renault Sport of Gasho there.
Coca-Cola. The spread is still evident. I am being advised by the director that it is still based on constructors' points, but Camish pretty much demanded the number 10 where possible. When they weren't 9 and 10, it didn't matter. But in the past, when we've seen touring car action, Ryan Camish has been known to run with at least a number 0 on the car, in deference to a number 10 because of his favourite football player, Gary Lineker, back in the 80s. What do I know? But
we're not
Webber,
football commentators here, we're motorsport commentators.
Exactly.
Looking at Aiello here on just ahead of Wirtz. Wirtz is actually, now that he's away from Suarez, has found himself
cork in the bottle.
the
You have to. This is the message that should have gone in Ford's camp, not Volkswagen's camp, because they're still looking to get Wirtz to keep the number 1.
Volkswagen. Wirtz fought his way through in that corner. Suarez was not giving that up. That's what Blow has to start thinking.
Fingers out. I think cross the line for the final lap.
He was happy in 6th place. Has not made any moves to attack. Might do now though. I might eat my words.
I think Palou would eat bumper there if he was a little bit too late on the brakes.
Yeah, he didn't really defend against Schneider either, to be fair. So Palou's just very happy to sit in 6th place at the moment. Seems unusual as the rookie has a race win this season. I think he would want to go for more points.
Yeah, we'll have to have a view with them. I'm assuming team game and contract come into play, but when this is a very visible train of 5 caused by the teammate in front of you, you'd want that to be, the other way around. Because if he's going to defend from Palou, there's no harm in him defending from the likes of Thompson Aiello, because he's done it before. Okay, here we go. Dunlop slipstreaming through 300R. We'll take a look at the leaders as they cross the line, but this is perhaps the final move of the race. Yeah, he's still behind him. You'd expect that dive,
Yeah, no
team
move.
game. I can only assume team game. So, next corner and Panasonic to come.
Maybe there's a fear that Camish might not be defend against Thompson, for example. Suppose sitting there.
Maybe long game, team game. Yeah, speaking of long game,
yeah,
Webber
looks like a second win for Webber.
A third win for Webber. One at Brands Hatch.
One win on. Oh, yeah. Well, they haven't updated on the winner there, but never mind. That is Webber coming across the line now for the race win.
And Alpha with points. Wittmann with points as well.
Schneider got to third. Sorry, we missed that.
We missed that. Wittmann. Maybe we'll be able to see that in live replay before we end the footage. But Swinnett done in 13th, Rydell 14th. Toyota with what looks to be something that we want to be deleted from their archive. Le Mans springs to mind from 2016 because it was that bad.
I still believe that they have definitely cut the budget there. There is no reason for them to be winning races at the start of the season and then suddenly peter out like that, whether it's down to budget constraints.
In fairness, the crown that they've got isn't the signature car anymore. The Corolla might be, and there is arguments in the Toyota camp that they should be running that car. And that might be what we see by the time we get to the second season. But, of course, title decided to come. Nordschleife next. But before we do, let's look at the standings post-Fuji. Nico Wirtz is now in the lead of the championship. Wittmann led at Brands Hatch, but now it's a 4-point gap between Wirtz and Wittmann. 203 for Wirtz, Wittmann on 197. Fabrizio Fisichella is third with 177. So with the constructors' title currently at Alpha, but all can change at the Nordschleife. Aiello fourth with 170. Jamie Webber and Sophia Schneider now fifth and sixth in the standings, so they're on for a decent points on the constructors. Might keep those numbers 3 and 4 on the side of the car for season 2. Tied with that is Gasho, but given the form book with BMW, they might pull out ahead of Gasho. Thompson in 8th on 148, Carlos Blue on 142 in 9th. Compare that with Camish on 88. Team game, long game, whatever you like, Camish is going to have to answer a lot of questions back at base, back at M Sport, back at the Ford factory. Sergio Suarez bringing up the top 10 with 137, and Toyota's A game has put Butcher on 116 points, but that is now considered not good enough from our perspective. But let's see what they can do for the final round at the Nordschleife. It's a bit of an odd pattern to go back to Europe, having gone to more summertime climates like Fuji, wet weather considered. Hopefully the weather will hold up. Thoughts on the weekend there, Christian?
Pretty eventful, especially with the weather. It's been very good. It's not as good, unfortunately, as Brands Hatch, but that's a high bar to make.
That was a high bar, but it obviously national and the nation's bias as well, because we were cheering on our privateer hero in the charcoal void there, Swinnerton, who did announce on that pit to car feed that he was retiring at the end of the season. That has been confirmed. He's confident that there is backing for what might be considered a semi-works effort. We'll just have to see what's on the side of the car by the time we get to season 2. They're still running this car by the end of the season. This is Adrian Michael Rees signing off on behalf of Christian Shepherd. We'll see you at the Nürburgring. Sayonara.